to Nerdsplaining podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
What it is? Happy Nerd Day, everybody. What's going on, Eric? A nice early happy birthday to you is coming up. I know we're talking about that. Even
Thank you
nerds
so
get
much,
birthdays,
buddy.
man. Come on now. You know, get
Listen,
a cake, have Daredevil. Maybe Deadpool jump out of the cake or something.
it could be Deadpool with Daredevil on his shoulders. Like,
There
yay!
you go.
Great.
Both of them.
I'm all about it.
Two cakes, man. You're worth it.
I like ninjas who are in red. I have a thing. This is what I do. If Spider-Man was a ninja, he'd be on that. But not Daredevil, Deadpool. That's it.
I think Spider-Man is a ninja, dude. I don't know.
I will take also G.I. Joe's Jinx for all the G.I. Joe heads. I remember Jinx. I saw you. We all watched the movie. We saw she was part of the team. All right. I'm not talking like Chuckles. I'm not talking Rat Trap. I'm talking Jinx. All right. Red ninjas all the way, all day.
Ninjas
but thank
all day. Absolutely. But yes, how about making a birthday? It's coming out this weekend. But before all that, you need to soak in all the goodness, all the nuggets, a lot of interesting announcements this week.
This week has been, if you want to talk about a weekend geek, this was an unexpected weekend geek.
It really was. And this kind of just, says how much they give a fuck about Comic-Con this year.
Really? Like,
that's
we're not going to go, but that doesn't mean we're not going to blow your mind.
I mean, all this stuff that dropped, that this would have been really good, fodder for a Comic-Con.
Great.
Whatever. Okay, we'll get into all that, but a little bit of bad news, particularly for us nerds and MCU, DC projects coming out, which is the ones we talk about mainly because it's official. Those who have heard, the writers are already on strike. Now the Actors Guild is now on strike, which is bad for the short term. Very bad.
Break on that puts a break on Deadpool, right? That puts a break on Deadpool.
I don't know how far. I think Deadpool will have finished filming. I don't know.
I think they were still filming.
I'm not sure. I heard conflicted, but yeah. So obviously, this is gonna have an immediate impact on Daredevil and anything else. The Captain America, whatever.
Right.
New World, whatever it's called now. And, perhaps not about Superman so much, but yeah, man, this kind of sucks, dude. With the writers, that's a long-term issue.
Right.
But with the actors, that's a now issue. That's a short-term issue.
Yeah.
Whatever's in production that was written now has halted. I know Daredevil, that was a show we talked about, had some delays. Let's add that to the list. I think Thunderbolts is coming out. I'm not sure that was filming yet or close to it.
But Cap was filming. That's now
Cap was filming. Well, was paused. Filming. So it's just gonna cause delays and more delays, and I don't know. And even the writers, I heard a story that it was a deadline where one of the guys, on the union for the studios was saying they'll wait it out. They're gonna starve him out, as they say. He said by October.
Listen. That is totally a bold talk for someone who is nervous as hell, because you waited out and guess what? Your stocks start plummeting because no one's producing anything, and now you're like,
they have less to lose right now in the short term than the writers do, right? Because they were saying that, listen, back October, November, even sooner, no one's paying rent that time, so people get desperate and like, all right, let's take whatever deal we can get, right? That's just how it works. It's a good strategy. I can't hit on it. I know it sounds kind of cruel, but if you're a business, other ways around. If you're the writers, you hold down till they start losing money, right? It's the same concept.
Sure.
So listen, it works both ways. But
here's the thing. Writers can go write for like cartoons and video games. They could do podcasts. They could do a whole comic books. They can earn a living. But think of it this way: every multi-billion Marvel movie was based off a comic book that some dude did for way under.
This stuff. I mean, listen, everyone loses, obviously, but
right,
the actors are in a better position because they make more money. That's just how it works, right? So they can hold out much longer, right? But I think it has a bigger effect in the studios. But it's just gonna affect everybody. I don't know. Even today, I think they had the premiere of Oppenheimer in London. And as soon as they announced, it was anticipated they were going to go on strike, which they did. All the actors had to walk out. Cillian Murphy and crew, they're like, okay, well, Matt Damon will stand behind, obviously. So they left the premiere before it even started. So,
wow.
Yeah, affects all promotions. They don't make any appearances, nothing like that, as far as the actors.
Wow, okay. So
any upcoming movie, it will have an effect as far as promotions concerned, whether it be, Barbie's already in motion, but I forget what Haunted House is coming out. Whatever, bunch of other shit's coming out. Blue
Oh
Beetle.
no, not a haunted
Yeah,
house.
Blue Beetle as well, which is funny because I did get
That's
I got an invite, which I can't go tomorrow. It's for tomorrow to was high end cinema down where we live in downtown Miami, and it's for the director and Cholo, the main character, to be Q&A with them, and they're gonna show the film.
not anymore.
I don't know. I that's weird. I got this like a week ago. I couldn't go. If I really wanted to go. I wish it wasn't tomorrow, but I don't know if that's gonna go on. But stuff like that has an effect, residual effect, and residuals is the big issue. I think that's the key thing.
That's the main word.
That's the main thing. The biggest thing. There's other things that they're talking about, but residuals is the big thing, which no one can solve because of streaming, and it's just weird. No one knows it. It's uncharted territory. I don't know. I did a day. I thought my studio fine. I'll agree to more residuals, but they just pulled the show earlier from the streaming, which we've seen like Disney do recently. Max is doing it. I'm sure Netflix will follow to just pull these shows, older shows, and they don't have to pay shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah, it's awesome. We're gonna feel it. We're gonna have some delays, no doubt about it. I want to say Deadpool was. I heard that. I don't know. You're probably right. They're probably all still filming, which sucks.
All I'm saying is, guys, if you're looking for content, welcome to Nerdsplaining.
Yeah, because there might be a little delay on that. Listen, this may resolve in a week or two. Who knows? But the writer strike's on almost 3 months. I want to say. It's getting close to it. That's a long time. The actors.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully. They'll figure that out. But in the meantime, there are going to be movies coming out. We're getting a little taste of some of these films. And the first one we just mentioned earlier is Blue Beetle, dropping its second trailer. Good trailer. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not overjoyed by it. It looks really cool.
I'm actually
I don't know.
The opposite. I was excited to begin with, not just because I have this issue, but I'm more excited. This looks way more fun. I like that there is sort of like a snarky Friday Jarvis situation going on with the suit.
That's really, I like that. That's cool.
That was cool. Like I need weapons. Finally.
I know. That's really
great.
good. I like that a lot of little personality.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't remind me of Iron Man, which it looked like in the first trailer.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Who's the bad guy? Who's the other mech? Is there he's like a comic guy?
He's a character. I'm forgetting his name. I think he's like the Ultimate Man or something. I'm trying to remember. But it's a secondary villain because Blue Beetle has been relegated to like B, C tier. He doesn't really have a great rogues gallery. So he's got some very like niche villains for himself, but he doesn't have like, to my knowledge, and mind you, I'm not the biggest Blue Beetle fan. He doesn't have a Lex Luthor. He doesn't have a Joker. He doesn't have a Green Goblin villain. You need one of those. I think every superhero character needs a super genius archenemy, needs a psychopath archenemy, and he needs a polar opposite archenemy. If you think about it, like you have the super genius, you have Doc Ock, Green Goblin for Spider-Man. You have the Venom, the equal, or the Carnage is the psychopath. Mm. So you have those. Batman clearly gotta go. Even if you go to Superman, you got the Lex Luthor, you got Bizarro. You have those keystone elements to good arch enemies. I don't think Blue Beetle really except for the alien species that the Scarab came from, but they're not playing up because the alien species actually was the Scarab was like a scout to invade Earth. So I think that might be like the post-credit scene, but it's not the big bad for the movie because they're just setting him up first before they introduce him.
Susan Sarandon seems to be the true bad of the film. It's just a henchman, right? He's odd job.
Which is fine. He's a really powerful odd job.
Right, which is cool. You need someone to go up against him, right?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, it looks fun. It looks entertaining. I hope it's good. I still think it's not going to do well. I love the grandmother scene at the end. I thought was kind of funny.
Oh, with the Gatling gun?
That was pretty. It looks fun, Brian, which is what we talked about, right?
If the gun just shot chancletas, then it would be the most Hispanic movie
like that, right? Which I'm sure maybe that's in there. I don't know that. Same wavelength. I was like, man, where's the chancleta? Come on, take out. That would have been good. But it looks good. It looks fun. It looks very entertaining. It looks. Listen, how much? I don't know what the budget is, but whatever it is, it's well spent.
It
Right.
was. You're right.
It looks great.
Very smartly spent to make it look as good as possible. It doesn't take away from it. It's not heavily reliant on it. Right. I love the fact that the suit is more practical than it is CG. Yes. All that, fantastic.
No, it looks really cool. So, that comes out in a month, I want to say.
Roughly.
So let's see. The next one, it wasn't the only trailer. Disney, again, flipping a bird to Comic-Con this year. Dropping the Ahsoka, the second trailer. Normally I wouldn't watch it, but in the series I do because it's 6 hours is less to spoil, right?
Right.
So this one dropped. And I hate to get excited. I really do. I don't want to get excited.
Because Star Wars has hurt both of us before.
Right, and I don't want to fall in that trap. I don't want to, take the girl back. It's always going to cheat on you. I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to do that. But it's hard not to let her back in your life.
It's hard, yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about this because the trailer looked really good, right? They show a lot of cool scenes, and I know the action looked awesome. This lightsaber, I love that shit, right? But I got a feeling that most of it wasn't the first episode, the first scene we're gonna get.
Possibly,
right? So that worries me that the rest won't be like that. I'm sure it's not going to be. I don't know. It looks great. Look, in a vacuum, this should look really good. It looked really good. I give credit.
But in a world of Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett and the last two Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones,
I agree.
It feels like, dude, am I strong enough to love again? Is the question you're asking. Like,
I got a feeling Lucy's pulling the football right before Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I think we're falling for that again. The banana tailpipe. I don't know. It does look great. It looks great, man. They said there's a Rebels. It might as well be a Rebels, right?
Seriously, it might as well be. And I'm here for that.
And that's a good thing. And there's no knock on that at all. I talked about the only concern was a casual fan who may not be familiar with what's going on, right?
You'll figure it out.
It depends how deep they go into the lore and stuff. But, listen, we'll see. But
we are culturally at the point of nerddom where, like, if you want to hear the origin, you'll figure it out.
Like I said, don't rely on that too much. It's fine.
Right.
If you have to making these references to stuff that happened, it's just pertinent to the story. That's a problem. So it depends how they.
I like the. That's why. Unfortunately, Ray Stevenson, who just passed, but he's a great villain for the series because he's not attached to the series at all. So he's your entry point villain to understand the bigger world you're in the first place. So, and if you've seen Ahsoka in Book of Boba Fett or primarily Mandalorian, you're like, oh, I saw this chick, and you're going to learn from that. So I think they're positioning themselves, and mind you, this is also Filoni's baby. He knows how to introduce you to a story cold to build.
But let's see. I guess I don't want to get excited. I really don't.
I get it.
I'm not aiming for the football. I'm cautiously optimistic, but it does look great. There's no question about it. It looks cool, man. I love the scenes. The Inquisitors in here and all that.
Yeah,
it looks badass. It looks like it's be. I don't know.
And
I really don't want to fall for this again.
On a completely child level, I'm really excited to see orange lightsabers. I'm not gonna lie.
No, listen.
Orange lightsabers got super excited for the dumbest reason. I'm like all about it. So yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. We'll reserve judgment to watch it. I hope they do. I think it's a 2-episode premiere, which has kind of been
even better. If they pull that off, even better.
Yeah, I believe so. So was it September? God, I want to say yes. I forgot to look that up. I think it's September. We still got a little while to go, but this would have been cool to show at Comic-Con. Like the Blue Beetle.
Great.
It would have been great. Just whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. But speaking of more Comic-Con, this is like the anti-Comic-Con. The weekend currently, right? Let's go into Deadpool, which we talked about earlier, right? Deadpool 3, we're all excited. I'm itching to see. I love Deadpool. A lot of people love Deadpool. And man, they've been dropping just all kinds of shit on here. We got let's start with we'll build up, right? We got the first look at the costume, right? These pictures releasing of Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, that old school. Kind of
blue and yellow
comic book, original blue yellow, whatever, which he made fun of in the movie.
Right?
Oh no, he didn't make fun of it. It was
Cyclops.
Right.
That dick. He made fun of. How dare
you? It looks cool. It looks. I don't know. It looks a little hokey, but to be honest with you,
I like it, but I'm a specific kind of Wolverine nerd. I like the orange and brown. So I was like, Oh, because remember in the Wolverine movie, there was that post credit scene they took out where they give him the brown and gold costume, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be so. The blue and yellow, I was like, oh, cool, blue and yellow. But it's not brown and gold. Like I wanted. That's the one I wanted.
It's a good nod to obviously the true fans of the property from back in the day. The casual fans, not gonna give a fuck. But it looked cool, right? I mean, listen.
But attention to detail. Even though they had the little slits on the sheaths on his glove where the claws come out.
Yeah.
I was like, this is, and I mean, everyone and their mom has talked about it. I don't understand why they gave him sleeves. And
I was about to bring that up, but whatever.
Here's the thing. I heard people say, well, maybe it's because Hugh Jackman didn't want to work out so hard, so they get sleeves. And I almost believed it until, not only did they release a photo, but they released some behind the scenes footage of them doing a scene. And you can see Hugh Jackman's arms are huge in that thing. And I'm like, no, it's obviously it's not a workout thing. So is it going to be like a bit that they're going to do in the movie? Is it going to be some sort of, I don't know what it is.
I mean, they could, right? This is exactly kind of movie just going to, be very meta, obviously, and then point this stuff out. So I don't know, but you're right. He's still pumped. I don't know. He has to be pumped. He's dedicated to the role. So that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's another picture I want to talk about. Before we get to that, though, Elektra, apparently Jennifer Garner was announced. Apparently she's going to come back, reprise her role as Elektra in this film. Interesting. I didn't like Elektra. I don't think a lot of people did. I don't think I even liked her as much, but I think it's
no one liked Elektra.
Well, you're right. No one liked Elektra. You're right. Even Jennifer Garner liked Elektra. But she's coming back. So that's interesting.
Let me tell you something. When I heard about that, I thought, oh, cool. She's definitely not going to be in the same scene with Ben Affleck, though. Oh, no.
That you can book that. And along with her, there's a lot of rumors and speculation about Channing Tatum finding
as Gambit. That's
right. There was, years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, it was rumored he was trying to get a Gambit movie off the ground. He was pushing hard. He was working hard, like Ryan Reynolds was working hard for Deadpool, right? That's how it was. And if it just never came to be, so now, I guess now he may have his opportunity to, don that, coat or whatever they're gonna put on him, and which is interesting. I like that. I love Channing Tatum. I do. Particularly in comedy, I think he would be perfect in this film, even if it's just a small role. But I think that's genius. Elektra, I don't care too much about. Him, yes. I think that's great. I think that's a great
By the way, because I love Channing Tatum so much, and obviously he's not going to be Gambit in the MCU.
Obviously.
I would like to make a public appeal. I want to start a fan campaign. Channing Tatum as Booster Gold. For what? DC.
That could work. Yeah, that could work.
Like, you want to talk about a good-looking, muscular dude who's a goofball screw-up?
Yeah.
That's Channing Tatum. Yeah. You get him as Booster Gold, and then you have Booster Gold and Blue Beetle team up. I'm telling you, give me $1 million. Yeah. I just solved all James Gunn's problems right there.
Yeah, Channing Tatum is not the world's greatest actor. Let's not kid ourselves. But
no, he's not. But he's fun as hell.
He is fun, and he's great in comedies. He really is.
Yeah.
So I think pairing him here is great. But yeah, Booster Gold, that kind of vibe. I'm with you. That's a good call.
It's 21 Jump Street comedy in a superhero film.
No, absolutely. That could really work. So that's interesting. There's other people they've mentioned, but there is one picture which was fascinating. Because now we can kind of tie all this in together, right? All these cameos and stuff. So there's a picture on the beach, the same picture I showed with
yes.
Jack walking. The fighting, there's the pictures of them fighting. You see the wires, of course, and all that.
Right.
Deadpool. But onto the side is like a ruins, kind of, and one of them is a ruin of a 20th Century Fox logo, right? Back in that's kind of destroyed or whatever, right? So obviously, just by looking at that, we have an idea of where this movie is going. Yeah, it's multiverse stuff, but not in the way we're thinking the MCU has done it, making fun of itself. But I kind of feel it's going to be like him going after the Fox people or something along those lines.
Well, listen, there are tons of rumors.
I don't know, maybe. Or like
there's tons of rumors of like that where they're fighting is like the version of the TVA's Void, where they keep all the timelines, so they all junked it in there, which I think would be really fun.
Interesting.
There's also rumors that one of the Wolverines that Hugh Jackman is going to be playing is Hugh Jackman, the actor, being Wolverine. Mm-hmm. So he might be the last survivor coming out of that building.
Right.
Like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
I used to be famous. And then murder. So there's even rumors of saying that the Wolverine that we saw in the photos in the yellow suit is the Wolverine from the upcoming X-Men 97 cartoon, and that's why they're doing the cartoon, because that's the universe that apparently might be connected to the 838, which is the universe you saw in Doctor Strange. So I'm kind of digging this.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I like it because we heard Roddy Berry may be in here, and Magneto,
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen, and of course Patrick Stewart. There are all kinds of names in here, so this might be. I would love the take of him either taking down the Fox characters because they're no longer very meta, no longer going to be around.
Right.
Something like that. That's very Deadpool. I like that, and seeing that 20th Century Fox, like, okay, I have an inkling what might be going on, right? It shed some light, which is why all these cameos are popping up, right? Because Channing Tatum was going to be in the Fox version, and Electro not so much, but whatever.
In a multiversal kind of way, I really hope there's a scene where Deadpool does to the Fox universe superheroes that scene from Half Baked where he just points at like X3 and he points at Wolverine Origins and he points at Elektra and he goes, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And he gets the X-Men 1 and 2 and X-Men First Class. He goes, you guys are cool.
Yeah. I've got a feeling. And so now I think it makes all these rumors, I think, like Patrick Stewart and all that, I think based on this, I think we are going to get to see all of them characters back. Not all of them, but I'm saying a good portion of them, and, along with like, if you have Colossus and Negasonic.
And I got to say, that all being said, I'm super excited. Ian McKellen's coming in and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I really hope they do give the Matthew Vaughn X-Men a shout out.
I was going to say, I would love to see all four of them. Of course, Fassbender and what's the young who played the other Xavier?
Oh, geez, I forgot his name right now.
McAvoy? No, I forget.
McAvoy, yeah, James McAvoy. James McAvoy.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I would love to see four of them kind of like walk it, like almost like a Seinfeld moment where you have the Bizarro. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be something like that. It was just a quick cameo because this movie I think it's gonna throw a lot. Kitchen sink's gonna be thrown here, a lot of shit on screen, which normally I don't like, but in a movie like this, it works, right? In another film, just for the sake of having cameos, there's a point to that in this film.
Right, because they're in on the joke.
Exactly.
It's different when they're in on the joke, so it's different.
So it's different. It will work in here. So this was cool. I'm excited for this, man. Whether it gets delayed or not, whatever. I think this was the first Marvel movie coming out next year, I think.
Oh, they bumped it up. It was supposed to be like the fall of next year, and they bumped it to like the spring.
Right, because they were in production already, but whatever.
I mean, that wasn't until the strike.
Right. So I don't know how much they filmed, and who knows, right? Maybe they're almost done. I have no idea.
Deadpool 3, summer.
Summer. I mean, I don't know, but whatever it is, it's gonna be the first one on this slate next year. So it's a good way to kick off the MCU because they need to start off. They didn't start off well this year. I think they need to start off well, right? It's important to start off well. Mm-hmm. So let's see. But that's not all, because, man, keep that middle finger up for Comic-Con here. So, Superman Legacy, last week, we got the official casting of, Lois Lane, of course, the Man of Steel. But now, man, they can all hang out, where at first they talked about 3 additions. You have, what's this guy's name?
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. And it's going to be playing a lantern, right? It was his Guy
Gardner.
Guy Gardner, which is an interesting choice. We had a hot girl, Isabella Merced, who's, I guess, Dora the Explorer. And I don't know his name. Is it Eddie Gathegi? I'm saying it wrong. Edi. He was in X-Men First Class. He's no stranger to these kind of films.
In X-Men First Class,
he was in For All Mankind on this season on Apple Plus. Great show. So he's coming back to play Mr. Terrific. So this is interesting because I don't know any of this. I mean, Guy Gardner heard of, but I don't know exactly. I know we hear that they're the regular Green Lantern guys, But
let me nerd-explain this to you. Yeah. Guy Gardner is everyone's super dickhead friend that you always wonder, why am I friends with this guy? Imagine that guy became a Green Lantern. That's Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner's claim to fame. He's in many a thing, but his biggest claim to fame in the comic book world is one day he became part of the post-Crisis Infinite Earths, post-Crisis rebranding of the Justice League. And Batman shows up, and it was like, oh, Batman's here. He's going to be the leader. And Guy Gardner's like, fuck that. I'm a Green Lantern. I have this ring. I'm the most powerful dude here. I should be the leader. And Batman's like, no, you're not. He's like, what? I'll tell you what. You come fight me right now, and I'll knock your ass. And Batman goes, take off the ring. And the Guy Gardner takes off the ring. And the minute he takes off the ring, Batman punches him right in the face, knocks him the fuck out. And it was like, oh, shit. He goes, that's why he's the leader. That's Batman's smart. He knows how to do a thing. So with that context, Nathan Fillion is going to be super fun because he's gonna you remember Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog that Joss Whedon did with Neil Patrick Harris, and he played Captain Hammer.
Yeah,
Captain Hammer with a Green Lantern ring. That's the Guy Gardner. So I'm all in on that. So yeah,
cool.
I'm good.
Yeah, we got. I mean, Hawkgirl. I assume is just a
Hawkgirl. If you watch the Justice League animated series, you know Hawkgirl.
Yeah. Mr. Terrific is the one that I am completely unfamiliar with.
Quick side bit: this Hawkgirl will have nothing to do with Black Adam's Hawkman.
I would assume that.
Just let you know.
It's his daughter. Her daughter.
Nope. No, supposed to be his love interest, but that's not going to happen because different universe.
She's a little young,
she's also like 15 years younger than me. So
that'd be awkward.
But Mr. Terrific is, think of it this way: Mr. Terrific is a super genius triathlon, the decathlon winning athlete who's also super genius. He is Reed Richards. Okay. If Reed Richards never got stretchy powers and cared more about his family, that's Mr. Terrific.
Okay.
So Mr. Terrific is like, in the DC universe, he's like one of the top 5 smartest people in the world. And he has a mask that's just the letter T over his eyes and his mouth so you can't see him. And that mask is actually a nanotech mask that doesn't allow digital recordings of his face. So that's how he keeps a secret identity from digital media, is with a mask. And he has this thing called T-spheres, which are these flying orbs that all surround him, and they're like droid assistants. Whatever he needs them to build or to make, they can generate for him. Whether it's a shield, a blast, creating some sort of like a levitation thing, they work in unison. He usually has a bunch of them around it, and a bunch on his like in his jacket and everything like that. And he's the second version of Mr. Terrific. There was another Mr. Terrific from the Golden Age that had a shield that was a giant T that said fair play on it. He died. So in homage to that, on the Mr. Terrific now, he wears a leather jacket with fair play down his arm. And that's like an homage to the OG Mr. Terrific where he's carrying on the mantle. So that's Mr. Terrific. He is a Mr. Fantastic without the powers and has a little bit more human, a little less detached. That's Mr. Terrific.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I never heard of that guy. So whatever. I trust.
Mind you, we got all 3 of those people. Still no Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sure that's coming soon. But we did get another announcement that dropped. I think it was today or late last night. And that's Anthony Carrigan, who is awesome.
From Barry.
And Barry. He's so fucking good.
So good.
He's fantastic. So good. Yeah, he deserves all the credit. He's probably the best character in Barry. He's awesome. But he's coming in now to play
Metamorpho.
Who
Metamorpho.
Again, no clue who this guy. I mean, it's like deep cuts by James Gunn, which I'm not shocked.
It really is. I listen, as a if you're a DC nerd, you are shooting fireworks in the sky right now. This is your own personal 4th of July. Metamorpho is a guy who can turn into every element in the human body. So since we have iron in our blood, he could turn into iron. Since there's like phosphate in our body, he could turn into the chemical phosphate itself, but he can't turn into like titanium because that's not part of the human body. It's every element part of the human body. He could turn into water. He could turn into like acid. So anything that's in the human body, he can turn into. He just can't turn into anything that's not organically in the human body. And he is disfigured. Think of, in terms of personality, think of the Thing from the Fantastic Four. That's Metamorpho.
Interesting. It looks wild. This is almost like when I say polka dot man.
A little bit, because
as far as that kind of just out there, just
as
very unusual.
Think of it this way: James Gunn made Polka Dot Man fun.
No, yeah, I agree. As I'm saying,
and as I'm saying, if he can make Polka Dot Man fun, I'm so excited to see what he's going to do with
and I love Carrigan. I think he's great, and I think it all sounds like, man, as a weird character, he fits right into that role. So I love that casting. And so he's spinning again, no Lex Luthor, but he's spinning it in. So now it's obvious, and I think James Gunn was talking about this. Maybe he didn't, but that this is a world. We know there's not an origin story. Obviously,
Right.
he came out and said that. So this is a
Right.
world already populated with superheroes, metahumans, whatever you want to call it in this world, whatever. But it's already there. Now I don't expect all these guys to have a big role, if any, right? I think it'd be so small roles here and there, right? Because I mean that's the goal. Listen, there's always that inherent danger when you have too many characters, too many superheroes. When you want to focus on the man, right? Superman. This is a Superman movie at the end of the day, and James Gunn did address it because he's tweeting out, and I guess someone tweeted back, "Oh, no, we're not gonna. It's not gonna be about Superman." He's like, "No," he reassured it. It will be about Superman. That's the main focus. It's just other characters. Like any other movie has other characters in it. I don't think it'd be a big prominent role, but that's really cool with in this world that he's just populating with all these weird characters like James Gunn does, right? I'm so curious how it's gonna work out, how this all blends in with Superman.
My hope is that you're gonna show how badass Superman is by the fact that these heroes, who are very powerful, still can't keep up to what Superman does. And I think that's
I would assume that's what's going on.
Think like if Superman in a vacuum, he's like, oh, he's powerful. Superman in comparison to the heroes, you realize, oh wow. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like Green Lantern could do all this, but it's all based on willpower. Mr. Terrific is just a man. Hawkgirl is a chick who can fly, and she's got a mace, but she's still essentially human-esque.
Right.
Metamorpho can do all these things with his body, but he has limitations. And then you have Superman, and so you can see why he is super compared to all these other heroes. And I think that's a really smart play to do because you never seen that.
Really cool. Plus, it introduces more ways to bring in, I guess, entities or whatever. With Green Lantern things from other.
Yeah, you're introducing that kind of
right. Because Superman, it can't be him and Lex Luthor. I don't want. Right. It has to be somebody else, right? That needs to fight.
Right.
And so I think it allows that introduction of that in that world. So which I'm very curious about Lex Luthor, number one, and who's the baddie, the other baddie. Right.
And suddenly, Batman in that world makes more sense. How could Batman or how to have a kid and that kid becomes the new Robin? What happened to the other Robins? Has Batman been here around the whole time? Technically, all these heroes have been here this whole time.
Right, exactly.
Superman is sort of like just a late to the game, but he changes the game with his appearance. That seems really cool.
No, it does. So I'm excited. I like this. I guess this is up James Gunn's alley. And Nathan Fillion and associated with James Gunn. For a long time. So I know it's like him and hiring his brothers.
Do you think sometimes during the movie, someone's gonna go, you know what I tell you? You look like a detachable limb kid. Yeah. Oh, we get that all the time.
Because I guess he came out and said he's not making another the Suicide Squad or whatever. So he has to give him fitting some wording. Man's got to eat, man. Sure. It's like, I got a role for you. Don't worry about it. So it looks really cool. It sounds great. I'm just waiting for Lex Luthor, and I'm waiting for the villain. Who is the villain, right?
My question is, who's Michael Rooker going to be? Who's Michael Rooker going to be?
Yes, he can be Jimmy Olsen. No. Actually, he can an old version of Olsen. I think it'd be kind of funny.
Actually, if I'm being serious, you know who Michael Rooker should be? A Parasite.
It's interesting.
Because all it is a dude who needs to feed off life to get powers, and he goes Superman. And you could just make him like, imagine him.
I don't know. He put him like a quick little side baddie in the beginning or something. That's fine.
Sure. That's
not main baddie material. But like a side baddie.
Could be. Done right, Parasite could be a main baddie. If he's being guided by a mastermind, he could be a main baddie.
Listen, you want to see Brainiac or something like that, right? Let's be honest.
I mean, clearly. But listen, all I'm saying is, look, coincidence or not, the new Superman series that just got launched as part of the DC branding or whatever, the first 3 issues, the big bad was Parasite. So
I think good in the beginning, and it's just Superman kicks some ass. Each little the appetizer, if you will. That could work.
A giant robot. Give me a giant robot, and I'm good.
No, give me a giant spider. So what they're thinking. So let's see. So I'm excited for it. So yeah, but let's finish off here with little Marvel. Secret Invasion episode 4, the episode we call the swing episode, right?
Right.
Where it's going to lead into the final couple episodes, only a 6-episode run. I've liked what I've seen thus far. It's been a good show, not a great show. It has its problems and good stuff. Whatever, it is there.
Sure.
This is the one where it's gonna kind of make or break in terms of what I expect in the end, and I have mixed feelings on this one, to be honest with you. I didn't love this episode. I barely liked the episode, to be honest with you. So many. I mean, it was way too short. What else is new? Clocked in.
Well, I think because it was a big action sequence, they kept it tight to pull that off.
They did, but there was a sequence in there. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was action. You can call it that. I think it'd be fair to say shitty action, because that was one of the worst shot scenes in action in this kind of show or series I've seen in a long time. It was like an amateur behind the camera. Horrible
I gotta
editing.
tell you,
the guys are shooting. The guys just standing there. They're not even moving. You can see that. It was really bad.
That was exactly my problem.
Yeah,
it was like there were certain shots. I was like, oh, this is cool, and there's other ones that like, now nobody moves, so we can do this one scene.
Still shot. It was really odd, and a lot of weird CG and a lot of weird cuts. It wasn't a really. It could have been a cool scene. It kind of ruined it for me, man. Because I like me some action, right? And it's got to be well done. We've seen great action. We're spoiled by now.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what am I? Why? And it took the stakes away from it. It was really odd. Like I like the stuff leading up to that.
The Groot stretch. That was cool. Looked really weird. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, it was a good idea, but it didn't look great. But it was a cool idea. I like the idea.
Right. Yeah. And then, like, for example, when Nick shot Gyrick on the face, and then I was like, that looks cool. I like that. Mm-hmm. But then when he's escorting, by the spoilers, guys, just in case you didn't see. Of course. Yeah. The big part we're talking about is there's an assassination attempt on the president of the United States. It's been orchestrated by, big reveal, Rhodey's a Skrull.
But I didn't see that coming.
The twist is it's a girl Skrull, which I think is kind of fun to see that happening. Yeah. Even though the whole time watching it, I was like, do you think she says the N-word? And does she say it with a hard R because no one's gonna judge Rhodey? But you're like, you Skrull piece of garbage. How dare cancel the Skrulls? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so there's a whole big montage. Fury shows up with Telos, and by the way, I gotta tell you, I got a little excited when Fury came out with a rocket launcher. It reminded me of Avengers. I was like, shoot me with the rocket launcher. Yeah, I was in on that. Everything was cool. And then they go to this. They go to rescue the president. It looks like they're not going to make it. British support comes in. All that I was, except for the Groot sequence, I was still like, okay, I'm on board with this. I'm on board with this. The whole thing where they create this defensive perimeter line to let Fury and Telos. I was like, I was still on board. I'll tell you exactly when things got weird for me.
Sure.
It was when Telos got shot in the arm.
Okay.
When Telos got shot in the arm, it's a firefight, but they're talking like two excited people at a bar to like everyone they can hear, and they're like, but there's bullets everywhere. How are you standing and talking when you should be ducking?
That's what I'm saying. That it was odd. It was.
But then the part that gets the oddest is they get the president. Fury's taking the president to his personal car. And a human soldier that once freaked out, seeing Telos as half Skrull because he's weakened and he can't keep his human disguise on, helps pick him up. And the minute Fury sees him, he's like, "Oh, that's Gravik. Or somebody. It's a Skrull." Right. But all the soldiers that are to the right of them that are shooting, none of them are turning back and like, "Oh shit, what's going on over here?" And they're hearing Fury say, "Put him down!" Like, put who down? Like, I would be like, "What the fuck?" There's one guy should look bad. If one guy noticed that that Telos turned into a Skrull, there should have been one of the dude going, "Hey, that looks like me," or "Why is there an alien there?" And is that dude's face on fire and healing? Like, it was so, and no one paid attention.
You're right. It's like they were just they were like pawns in the chess piece. Their chessboard.
It was not choreographed well enough. You needed to,
It was, oh God, I'm sorry, you're right. Even the guy yells out aliens, like no one bats an eye. Like,
yeah,
it was just weird. It was just an odd scene, man. it really killed the episode for me. It really did. Because again, leading up to that, it was cool. Right, we seeing his ex, is that his ex-wife or wife, whatever.
His wife,
I guess.
ex-wife.
Ex-wife, right? But not his ex, whatever. You know, her being a scroll. That whole sequence when they're gonna shoot each other, that was cool. That was well done. I like that. I wasn't. And we knew Rhodey's a scroll, duh. But I was kind of hoping to hang on to that a little longer than that. I don't know. It's just. I don't know if that reveal should have been now. That could have. They could have waited to the
reveal should have been. I wanted the reveal. They pushed the envelope. There's so much chatter. There's so much speculation. They needed to get a heart. But I hope that's not the last reveal. I want
I'm
more
sure
reveals.
Something, right? I mean, I would assume.
I want more reveals. Don't let this be the only reveal.
I'm with you there because if that's the case, they should have waited on this till the last episode or at the end. Rhodey's
right.
Fine, you set up Iron Wars. What is it called? Whatever. Fine, but I mean, so they blew that load. So I assume that's something else in the chamber. Is this guy dead?
I think he is.
You think it is? Okay. I'm not sure.
And that's one thing I really do like about the show is that they are killing people off to show that this is
sure. That's fine.
So, you kill Bray Hill, you kill Telos. Are they the biggest characters? No. But they're showing that this adventure has stakes and it's changing the dynamics of everything. That I got to respect because so many people go, nothing ever changes. No one dies. Everything's there. Like, no, you're getting people hurt.
I'll reserve judgment to see if he's actually dead. I don't know. I got a feeling maybe, taken to the hospital. Who knows? Or that he's still alive.
I think he's dead and his death is going to turn Gaia back to work of Fury, and that's what the death is for.
Probably. But I'm just, like I said, this is the MCU, so I don't trust that part yet. Let's see how happens the next episode to see if he's actually dead or not. But I like the stakes, but just they're not executing it right? So it's falling kind of flat. Even that scene, they didn't have that punch and needed to have to make you feel that almost like when the Hills character died. You didn't feel anything. It was just
that's weird. The one thing that I will say. Do I respect that they're killing off characters? Yes. I don't like how the deaths are executed. It's almost like it's people aren't being killed; they're being turned off. It's like click.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I don't know who's directing this. It's an issue, and that's a director issue, right?
Yeah, it's very much a director.
And like I say, with the action scene and all that, so I don't know who they have for this shot. I didn't look it up, and maybe we'll later, but it's just not directed very well. And then overall, like I said, I don't know. I mean. I got a feeling this is going to end okay. Like I'm not excited. We'll watch it. I hope it's great. But I got a feeling, I don't know. I have no confidence it shows. I'm not saying the show can't be good. I'm saying it's going to be, it's going to end in a way like, oh my God, it was awesome.
Put it this way.
I don't see that. I don't see it.
Put it this way. I feel like if you are under 15, you're going to be like, this show is hardcore.
Yeah,
if you're under 15 and you have like no life experience,
sure,
you're gonna be like, this is hardcore. I also think if you're like really just like, I'm gonna put a thing to watch a thing, you're gonna be like, well, that's kind of cool. So, but people who are like very critical of like, as we are, of like comic books, movies, storylines, we're the ones who have a problem.
Yeah.
But I think if for the very young or the completely oblivious, they're going to like it or be impressed with this. Yeah. But I guarantee you, if you show them this and then immediately show them Winter Soldier or The Bourne Identity or some of the Mission Impossible movies, goes, which one do you guys prefer? Like, oh, these over here.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Better ones.
And, we've seen a lot of movies, obviously, but even just recently, with Mission Impossible, you haven't seen it yet, maybe, but out of the way. But we've seen Mission Impossible in the past. The John Wicks, we've seen good action.
John Wick, right? Exactly.
Done well and executed well, over the top or whatever. Fine, it's done well, and you see this, you're like,
See, and that's the thing for the type of world they're trying to set the tone for. Every death should be on a Bourne Identity, John Wick level. That's what they needed.
You have to feel that death, and these were important characters. I'm not saying they're major characters, but we've seen them before. It's not like the first time we see them. Right, we've seen Hill a bunch of times. We saw him in this other again, Captain Marvel and all that. We've seen these guys like they deserve better than that. I don't know. It's not executed well. It's bad director, man. It really is. Whoever's directing is terrible. Or directors.
Here's for the first time, we're not complaining about the story. The story and concept is actually really cool.
The idea of
it's the direction that's lacking.
The execution, right? The tone. It's just up and down. I don't know.
And the
It's a
part
shame.
that makes it frustrating
It's a
is
shame.
that they get so close to the line of good,
Yeah.
and they never
They
cross
never
it, and that's
exactly.
the part that's
Yeah, they never
that's
cross.
frustrating. It's like, you're right there, man.
Yeah,
You're right
they
there.
can't.
It
They can't.
just
They can't bring
can't.
it together. I have no confidence that they will in the next two episodes. I think worst case scenario is going to be an okay show, which is fine. But again, it goes back to again, and even
Yeah,
Bob Iger, he came out and he pretty much straight up just said there's too much shit going on.
yeah,
I think yesterday or 2 days ago he came out just we have too much stuff. It's diluting it, the message to the fans and all that. And agreed. And you and I talked about that. It's just too many shows, and you know,
we even said with the initial announcement, we're like, can Marvel pull off this level of
that's what I'm
content?
saying. It's too much.
And and if you look at when Marvel is doing his thing, it's 2, maybe 3 movies a year. That's it, and no shows. Now the show's going in. It should be 2 movies. We even talked about this. I think the sweet spot for Marvel should be 2 movies, 2 specials, 1 series.
Yeah, that's it. Keep it
That's it.
simple, and the series has to be an impactful series. A lot of these series,
Absolutely.
like you don't have to watch them to see the movies. We know I know people haven't
Yeah.
seen the series and go watch the movies. It's got to mean more, right? It's got to be something more to it, or just do something completely different and separate for the TV if that's the way you're gonna approach
Yeah.
it, right? Might as well, right? Do what
Yeah.
the Netflix did with their stuff, right? They have no choice, but they can still have something within the world, but do something so totally different, make it his own thing. Go one way or another. They're trying to like toe the line, and it doesn't work
It doesn't
because
work.
they want the TV to affect the films. It just doesn't work. There's too much going on, too
Like,
many hands, too many cooks in
listen,
the kitchen.
listen. We haven't seen Echo yet. Who knows? Because of the lack of content we're going to be getting, they may stretch it out and release it per week. Who knows? Because they need to fill.
I hope so
time.
because then I can just see one, see how bad it is, and I'm out, right?
That's fair.
But I mean, listen, it's obviously they don't like the show. It's clear they
But-
don't like the show.
But here's the thing: if you would have not done, and this is not me shitting on female-led shows, because we've gone back and forth about this. I really liked Miss Marvel. I liked She-Hulk. But if you would have not done She-Hulk and you would have not done Echo, and then you would have took that budget and spent it on Secret Invasion and let's say Moon Knight, you would have 2 spectacular series that could have really delivered a very strong message.
It's too many characters, and like I said, if this is the route to take, that those characters should have been his own thing. The grounded heroes, leave it at that. Don't mix them up. Just his own thing and call it a day. Secret Invasion, you could have made a movie about that, right? If you wanted to, but a really good film. Out of like a Winter Soldier vibe in the big screen. You don't need all these characters unnecessary. You have to mix them up. So, and I think they're trying to do too much. And Iger's absolutely 100% correct. And
How about this?
He knows it.
How about this? Just because of what we're watching, how much better would this have been? You do an 8-episode miniseries called Secret Invasion. And in that storyline, you take elements of Falcon and Winter Soldier and elements of Hawkeye. So now you get to have Bucky, you get to have Falcon, you get to have Hawkeye, and you get to introduce a new Hawk Girl or a new Hawkeye, and you introduce a U.S. agent, and you keep all that. And now you're like, oh, this matters because look at all these Avengers. Yeah. And they're dealing essentially with Skrulls. The Skrulls could have affected the street level crime that Hawkeye has to deal with. The Skrulls would have been the terrorist group, the Flag Smashers that they were dealing with. So you would have had it all coalesce together, and that would have been a bananas.
And it would have been more of an event show. These shows don't feel like event shows, right? Like
absolutely, right? That would have been. And you make it 8 episodes. Right. That would have been an event show.
You do 1 or 2 shows a year.
Show.
1 or 2 shows a year, make them big or make them small. Pick a lane, right? Stick to one.
Absolutely.
It's not working out, but I think I like that they acknowledge it and they recognize it. So hopefully they can correct it, right? I don't want to see 8,000 movies. I know it'll probably be a couple years until this dilutes into where it needs to be. It's fine,
right?
Until then, we're just going to suffer.
What the complaint about this show is a complaint about the situation with the management. The show is not great because of the director. The actors are all delivering the best they can. Yeah, the story is actually solid, so it's not like, oh, that's kind of lame. Like, it's really an issue of like the direction. Marvel, when Chapek was running it, just dropped the ball. He didn't know how to manage the IP enough.
Yeah, no one knew.
And that was,
of course, and Feige couldn't do everything.
Feige had to. That's his boss, so he had to.
What are you gonna do? I mean, like I said, but they need to correct it. Even with Iger there, they have to just scale back. We keep saying scale back. We need 1-2 films a year. That's it. Give us 2 movies, right, and make them big events.
Give us 2 to 3 movies a year
at best,
and then 1 big series. And then 2 specials. That's all you need.
One special, whatever. But something along those. We don't need more than that. And like I said, so hopefully they can get it together because this show was not it. We got Loki. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it. I like the first season. Not great, but I liked it. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, the whole Kang thing, if nothing else, is interesting. Whatever. Okay. We'll know by middle of August how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
So whatever. So that's gonna be interesting, but let's see. I mean, whatever. We know Echo's gonna suck, so I have no hope in that. So this is be honest, it's gonna be bad. So we got Marvels and Loki then. The last 2.
Marvels and Loki and the Echo, but Echo is
whatever.
Right.
Echo is there, but there's 2 more potentials on this one. So whatever. In the next year, let's see. Well, with all the delays, we might get a wish come true. Some of these movies might get kicked out to the following year, depending on how long the strike goes. So, which is good. Maybe the strike is a good thing. Just give us Deadpool and, I don't know, Captain America and leave it at that. We can save Thunderbolts for the year after with something else. I forgot, Blade. Okay. Blade's not getting made.
That'd be great to see that.
Blade,
right.
Whatever. It's been like 5 years since they announced it. Like 5 years. That's terrible. So, whatever. But that being said, so a lot of cool stuff. We got Comic-Con. Actually, we'll probably do a show before
next
Comic-Con.
week.
So, but we'll do a show after Comic-Con. Not talking about Comic-Con because I'm going to talk about
comics. We're going to talk about comics.
Well, that's fine, yeah. But we did this show today was a Comic-Con show. There's all the announcements that could have been that were brought already. So, but that being said,
a quasi Comic-Con show.
Right, this is what it was, right? The big Comic-Con spectacular. But that being said, Eric, them's the nuggets for the week.
Oh, and by the way, guys, real fast, I know we're talking trailers, and this is really fit into our format, but check out the teaser trailer to Godzilla -1.
I did see that. It was kind of pretty cool. Yeah.
It looked kind of cool, too, so just a little thing there. But guys, that has been the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe here on the Latin Nerd Network on YouTube. You can follow other shows such as Nerdsplaining or The Watch List or Thanos' Choice. If you like this show, you can listen to all the original audio episodes at ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva. Don't forget to buy my album, Adorably Offensive. I appreciate it. It's a great album for people you like, a better album for people you hate. If you like the comedy stylings that we do over here and you like my comedy there, don't forget to check out my graphic novel, Danger Squad. That's currently in production. Should be coming out very soon. Some big announcements we got coming up in about maybe 3-4 months. So I'll give you more information about that as we come out as well. Don't forget to like us on the social medias at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on Twitter. And we're working on Nerdsplaining on Threads. I'll get to it, I promise. Guys, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Peace. Boom.